Alright, so today we're going to talk about some UMK3 PCB repair. This was sent to me to take a look at because it was totally dead. You plug it in, the LED comes on to indicate power, and that's all it did. There was no activity, there was no sound, there was nothing. It didn't have any functionality whatsoever. So if you actually look at the board, it's very common to have an issue with either the U47 graphics chip, the U45 chip. You could have a bad revision ROM or both, or a bad security chip. Or a missing battery. Now, some boards require a battery to boot, some don't. You'll hear a lot of people say, well, you know, if you don't have the battery in there, it won't boot, which is true, because I've had some boards where there's no battery, it won't boot. As soon as you put a battery in, it boots right up just fine. So some boards care, some boards don't. I've had boards that boot up without a battery just fine as well. So it's always a good idea to go ahead and just make sure you have a battery, and if there's no battery missing, push the contact down so the positive terminal touches the ground on the bottom side of the holder here, and that will simulate a battery. It just needs conductivity. Doesn't need voltage, so to speak. It just needs conductivity between the positive and negative. I think it depends on which CMOS chip is installed, but regardless, make sure you at least have a battery installed. But yeah, a totally complete dead board could be a 47 chip, a 45 chip, either or both revision ROMs, or the security chip, or the battery. So any of those being bad will keep the board from booting completely. So I swapped all those with a known good chip, and I had known good 47, 45 revision security, all that stuff, and I still had nothing. So going through and checking all the fuses, there are a bunch of these little fusible links on these boards. For instance, let's see, right here you see this little black component there. That's a fusible link, or a fuse, if you will. There's another one right here. There's a bunch of them around the graphics chips. Like this guy here says L93. It's a little black device here. This is these are fuses, and they're all over the board. You know, they're around the sound chip. They're around. They're all over the board. So this area here is what you, well, let me zoom out a bit again. This area here is what you want to focus on for those fuses. There's a bunch of them up here along the JAMA connector edge, and they're all over this area. So you want to focus on, you want to check them all, but you want to focus on this area here to do your main checking for your power and for activity. When I did that, I noticed this. Okay, they don't look beautiful because I didn't use my hot air station, but there we go. This fuse was open. This capacitor was open, and this capacitor was open. All three of these components were open. So going through and checking all of your fuses, I found this one was open. It should have direct continuity, like a short. Like imagine if this was just missing and you had a solder blob across the two contact points. That's basically what this is. It's a fuse that will open up if something else goes bad on that trace or on that circuit. So obviously something happened. This fuse was open and these two capacitors were open. So I replaced those from a donor board, and when I booted it up, let me show you what it did. So we're all set up, ready to go. So before I turn it on though, yeah, it was totally, completely dead until I replaced those three bad components. And I'll turn it on, and here's what, I got life out of it. Here's what's happening. Now I got my test tone, it boots up to a black screen. Wah wah. So I was like, oh, it worked. And then I saw this, oh, no, it didn't work. But it is working. In the background, the game's actually running. It's doing the ROM check and everything right now, because I can skip past the ROM check if it'll let me. Sometimes it depends on which start button you hold. And then you'll hear it do the revision screen where it pops up with CMOS invalid because the battery is dead. Come on, don't make a liar out of me. Any day now. There we go. So right there, you heard that. That's the screen that shows the revision. CMOS invalid, unable to restore factory settings because the CMOS battery is dead. If I acknowledge that, I can put credits in. Hit start. Excellent. So you can hear it working. The board is functional now with those components replaced, but I have no video. And almost every single time you have no video, it's one of these two chips, U47 or U45. Now, as it just happens to be, I have a whole truckload of 47s here. And at one point I had a whole truckload of 45s, but the 45 chip is what goes bad 9 out of 10 times. So I have a whole truckload of 47s, but I only have a single 45. And that's because I've given most of these away over the years, and I have one left, and I'm going to use it on this board, and then I'll be out. The only way to get these is from dead boards to salvage parts from. So don't remove these the way I'm doing it, because I'm an idiot. But I got this little small tweezers here that work perfect for getting these out without breaking the sockets. Perfect. So there's the bad one. We'll put in our known good one, and now it'll work. I don't know if this got taken out by a power supply and it took out these components, or if these components got taken out, which took out this. I don't know the series of circumstances, but the U45 chip was bad, and so are these three components. So that's why it's important to go through and check all these little fuses, because that will give you a clue as to what is going on with the board on that circuit. So after changing those out on this, now look what happens. Let's get this plugged in. There we go. There you have it. Bad U45, 2 bad capacitors, and 1 bad fuse. Quick and easy repair. Yeah.
Round 1, fight!
Okay, just wanted to share that knowledge with you guys. So if you ever get a board where you can hear it running but there's no video, or it's completely dead, you've either got an issue with one of your fuses, and go through and check every one of them. And if you don't find any of them that are bad, you know, it could, like I say, it could be the 47 chip, I think, may not give any indication of being bad. I would just say when you have a total complete dead board, if all the fuses are good, it's likely you have a bad revision ROM security chip, 47 or 45. So I've also seen these go bad without blowing any of the fuses. So just wanted to give that a detailed description there. So if you come across a dead board, you really know kind of where to start and what to look at first. So hopefully it helped you out, and we'll see you next time.